When we are in a power struggle, it's a competition, isn't it? We're both competing for who's going to win, who's going to get their way. And we've all been there. Who here's ever been in a power struggle?
Here. No, they just came from that
Anybody that didn't
way.
raise their hands is either lying or distracted. I know, we've all been in a power struggle. And when you're in it, we realize we're going around in circles, don't we? You know, it's do this, clean up the toys. No. I said clean up the toys. No. Clean up the toys now or else. Oh yeah, what are you going to do? You know, and it starts escalating. We're going around in circles, and we know it, don't we? When we're in it, we're sitting going, I've been here before, I can tell I'm going nowhere, and we don't always know what to do either to prevent it from happening or from getting out of it. The key is two things. And I'm going to draw on the flip chart here what's up there. Two key things. The circle in this diagram are limits. And this is what the adult sets, right? We all need to set limits, correct? These are the limits. Within those limits, we want to offer choices within those limits. Now, how many here have heard the concept choices within limits or use choices a lot? When we use choices within limits, let's just look at straight odds. Okay? Now, Melissa and Sherry, what were their odds of winning? We've seen the competition already. Each of them had what? About a 50-50 chance of winning? They were very evenly matched. So they had a 50-50 chance, win all or lose all. That either goes down or not. When they cooperated, they had a 100% chance of winning some of those M&Ms. The only limitation was how fast they could go in that 30 seconds. In general, that's the difference between power struggles and cooperation. In power struggles, depending on who you're in the power struggle with, if you're lucky, you've got a 50-50 chance of winning. I know some young children who are far more logical than me, and I might actually lose that power struggle. But when we use cooperation, then it's win-win. So I have a 100% chance of winning some of what I need, which is going to be my limit, and they have a 100% chance of having some choice within that limit. So we both win. We might not win everything we want. So we've got to figure out what's the most important thing. And that is the one thing we often need to do to tweak this, because it doesn't always work. Here's the key. The limit that you set, the two things we need to do. One is watch how you set the limit. Because if we don't go to a bottom line limit, then kids will find a loophole, or they'll be able to talk us into adjusting somehow. And then they think everything's negotiable. Okay? Now I'm going to give you a home situation because it's just really classic. Okay, so let's say that I want a child to take a bath. And I say, you need to take a bath. What's your name, Carol? Kathy, you need to take a bath at 7 o'clock for 20 minutes with bubbles and 4 toys. Is that a bottom line limit?
No.
No. How many power struggles can Kathy and I get in? Lots. Almost everything I said, she can try to argue with me about. What's the bottom line?
She has to take a bath.
That she has to take a bath? Kathy is brilliant. She says, why does it have to be a bath? Am I real? You got to take a bath my bottom line? What really is my bottom line?
You have to clean your body.
Your body needs to be clean. That's why I like to use that example. See how the difference. Bottom line is your body needs to be clean. Going even that one extra step to my bottom line opens up pretty much anything as long as you get clean. Maybe by a certain time, like before your body hits the sheets. That's my bottom line. Now, what kind of choices does Kathy have? Lots. If there's not a choice about if something needs to happen. Okay, we're not going to debate if your body's going to get clean. Offer a choice for how it happens or when it happens. Let's take cleaning up the toys. Okay? Cleaning up the area wherever you are before they leave. Isn't that pretty much a daily expectation? Isn't that pretty much an area where you get a lot of power struggles? All right, what's your bottom line? Okay, toys get put away. Can it go any lower than that? Okay, toys need to put away before the end of the day. Oh, we can make up a nice rhyme out of that, can't we? Okay, toys need to be put away before the end of the day. So what does that, you're not going to argue about that, right? That's a given, that has to happen. Now, how can they do it and when can they do it? As long as it's before the end of the day, they can do it a little bit at a time as they go along, or they could wait, whatever, 15, 20 minutes before the end and do it in one big sweep. What about how? Oh, okay, I'm seeing a shaking head no.
Before they get out another toy, they have to put that one away.
Okay. And
That's what we do.
and that's actually, in the long run, it's overall going to probably work better, because otherwise then you have those periods throughout the day when it's just too messy. Theoretically, though, somebody could continue to play with that longer and just wait until the last minute to put it in. Any other, I don't know that there's as much about when, but there's probably a lot about how. What are all the different ways they can clean up? What can they do while they're cleaning up? Sing, play games.
Well, one of the things that we used to do is we would have, well, if the room was a big mess, we would say, okay, it's a 5-minute cleanup. Everybody pick up 20 toys or whatever. And they'd have to practice counting and they'd have to practice, but in the meantime, the room gets cleaned up. And then if somebody was playing with the dominoes and now the dominoes have gotten put away, they can now get them back out to play with them again, but they had to get put away
During the cleanup time, everything needed to be put away, and then when it was playtime again, then they could take it back out. But you also made it fun with or educational, let's count, or let's sing. So there's a lot of ways that you can incorporate and make that fun. I know when I was doing problem solving with my son, he was only maybe 3. And every time he would go into clean his room, he'd just get too distracted by all the toys, and then he didn't really accomplish anything. So we sat down to problem solving, and he came up with a list of, he could roller skate, he could play supercalifragilistic, and he'd see how much he could clean up, how many times he could get through the song by the time he cleaned up. I mean, kids also have lots of ideas, so you can toss that out to them. My bottom line is we need to clean up. What are some fun ideas you all have for how we could do that? Getting them involved.
We do something similar. We have such a large group that at 5:30 is our cleanup time. So we say cleanup time. After cleanup time, then they get out balls to shoot hoops, jump ropes, hula hoops, and we have the music on to dance. So that seems to work real good for our group.
And they enjoy that, playing with the balls and the dancing, that gross motor, the fun. So they're looking forward to doing that.
Right.
So that gives them the opportunity. They know when they're done with that. Now, and that kind of goes, now if what's your name?
Rose.
Rose. If Rose were to say, if you all clean up, I'll let you go out and play with the balls and dance. Is that a bribe?
Yeah.
How can we word that without it coming off like a bribe?
Well, the kids will do that, and I'll say, we can go to the gym as soon as we are prepared to go to the gym. And what do we need to do? And I don't even say what needs to be done, and they'll say, we need to clean up.
Yes.
And then they
And the
will
older
do-
the children are, the more you can let them come up with the
And
idea.
they'll do other people's work, as long as they don't care, because they want to get.
They want to
their
get out.
job.
Yeah, so they're willing to do that. Yes.
We don't leave our room until it's clean in general, like if there's stuff on the floor. So our kids know that by taking longer to clean, that they're losing their gym time because we have the set time for that age group. And they know, they'll look at the clock and say, we're 5 minutes late, we're 5 minutes late, and they're scattered to clean.
And so they know.
that they're losing that.
And that's the wonderful thing about routines, that you have been able to plan ahead. We'll go through some of the other skills. Let's see, we're moving down here, aren't we? Yeah. We've already covered all the rest of those. Is planning ahead. And basically what you've done there is you've set up a routine that's consistent. And because they already know what time they're supposed to go out of the room to do the fun stuff, then it may just be a simple matter of, oh, what time is it? Okay, so what do we need to do? That's the wonderful thing, too, about older children, is that it's not that you have to tell them everything. You can ask those questions. They know how to tell time. They can come up with those ideas on their own and can be real creative about it too. If you have a child, kind of last thing on choices within limits here, if you have a child, and we had used the label strong-willed a little bit earlier, I call them union negotiators. They're the ones that they can come up with anything, negotiate the heck out of anybody. If you have a child that is that into the whole thing of, oh, but I want to pick my choices, all you got to do is just say, look, here's the bottom line. You figure it out. And as long as it fits within your bottom line, fine. Sometimes adults will get into a problem saying, okay, you can do this or that. You want a drink for snack. You can have juice or milk. And they'll say water.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if we are getting caught up in our own power and control, we'd say, that's not one of your choices. I said you could have juice or milk. But is water within our bottom line? Is it? Do you have to go out and buy it?
No.
Hopefully you got good enough water you don't have to. So that would fit. So you can go, well, you know what? It does need to be nutritious, and that's nutritious, so that's fine. So kind of just be aware, because it's really easy to kind of fall into that whole thing of it is such a challenge to manage so many children at once, especially with high energy, and it's after school, and they're really bursting at the seams. And I know we need to keep kind of a handle on things, but sometimes we can kind of get a little bit caught up in that and forget when it's okay to kind of say, you know what, that would just be fine. And then kind of back off a little bit. So that's the last thought on that. Let's go through a couple of the other skills in there, because there's a couple of them that are my favorites. My favorite skill for cooperation is don't say don't.